Don't ask me to talk.
From the sublime to the ridiculous.
Join me, Stacey Heller,
And me, Eric Ryder.
as we talk about what's good to watch, read, see, listen to, and more.
An edutaining 1-hour break in your day that includes the segment, What Are We Eating? Sponsored by Dingfelder's Delicatessen.
Stick with us for something good. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Don't Ask Me to Talk here on 880 AM Kixie Radio. I'm your host, Stacey Heller. Joining me, as always, is my co-host.
It's me, Eric Ryder.
Hey.
Good afternoon. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. And it is a happy Thursday indeed. I cannot wait to share with you what today is. But first, I'm going to do the usual spiel, which isn't such a spiel because I want people to know what the purpose of this show is, which is to be a distraction from all the negative stuff that we consume in the world between the news and what we hear about from friends and in the world, whether it be local or global. So we like to focus on some good that's in the world and share it with people. Sometimes it is, as we say in our promo, ridiculous. Sometimes it's sublime. I think it's usually entertaining. And, you know, entertaining good stuff should be shared. So thanks, of course, to everyone that listens to the show. We so appreciate it. If you like it, you can share it. You can find the show and my other one, Stacey Connects, on really your preferred podcast platform. Just type in Don't Ask Me to Talk or Stacey Connects and you will find us. If you would like to connect with us, feel free to text or call and likely leave a voicemail at 475-999-2726, or in the words of Eric,
475-999-YAP-AM.
Oh, I might like that one.
Yeah, I mean, we're yapping. We're on AM, so.
Oh my gosh.
There we go.
This is a contender. We've been doing a lot of like Bra 6 and Bran and Cram, but Yap AM might be good. I'm seeing like a cartoon like design that looks like, you know, the old Batman and Robin cartoon where it would be like bam and blam and whack. You know what I mean?
Well, in that case, we could go 475-99-ZAP-AM.
Yeah.
'Cause zap or yap.
Yeah.
It spells the same on the phone.
Yeah. So Zap works, right?
It does.
I don't know. All right. We're going to have to think about this. I like that one, though. That is definitely a lead.
And I might have sung an extra 9 in the jingle there by accident. So just to be clear, 475-99-YAP-AM.
Okay. Well, it's okay. It's a work in progress. So it's just...
Aren't we all?
Oh, my gosh. Amen. From your lips to God's ears. Okay. So I mentioned that I'm kind of excited about what today is. Yes, it's Thursday. Yes, it's August 4th. It is National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. Thank you. It is also, for you beer drinkers out there, it is National IPA Day. I didn't realize that IPA stood for, is it India or Indian Pale Ale?
I'm not a beer drinker, so
I'm not either.
I always thought it was Imperial Pale Ale.
Well, now I'm going to look this up because I feel like I need to know. My mom is a beer drinker, and she always talks about how she likes...
India Pale Ale.
India Pale Ale.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. She always talks about how she likes an IPA because she says it's hoppy.
They seem to have taken over
Right?
the world. IPA seems to be like the biggest, most agreed upon beer these days.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to matter the brand so much as is it an IPA.
Right. So like if you're someplace and, you know, you're sort of indifferent to beer, but you're feeling like you need to try one, then you can't really go wrong with an IPA. They seem like they're not too light. They seem to be, from what I understand, flavorful, and they're not dark like a Guinness.
Like a stout.
Yeah, like a stout. Exactly. And clearly two beer drinkers talking about an IPA, and hey, whatever, it's fine.
Two non-beer
drinkers. Yes. Yeah, I'm a gin drinker. What is your cocktail? I don't think I've ever asked you.
I don't typically do cocktails, but I like a good cider.
Oh, yeah, a hard cider.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Or just cider.
So,
well, the hard part seems goofy to me because alcoholic cider came before non-alcoholic cider, and in every other country, they don't say hard cider.
That's true.
They just say cider.
That's true.
So, yeah. When people say hard cider, it's like, yes, as opposed
redundant.
to juice. Yes.
Right.
But I got to say, I love living in Washington being a cider drinker because, it's bizarre when you go to other places, metropolises, and ask for a cider, and it's like, oh, you mean like the spiced apple cider? We've got some powder in a packet for you. Right. It's like, no, I'm talking about cider. And here, I just went to a very small town in Washington called Brennan. That's not even incorporated.
That is small.
But went to a restaurant there, and I said, do you have a cider on tap? And they said, yes, we've got two. And I say, because I've been in San Francisco where I've asked for a cider. Oh, we don't have that.
So interesting.
This is California. This is one of your major cities.
Right.
Get it together, folks.
Yeah, I agree. And it seems like a lot of breweries. I went last Thursday, actually, after the show. I went to a place that is in Ballard-ish called Beast and Cleaver. Before that, though, we went to a brew house called Pour Decisions, play on words, P-O-U-R, and they offered ciders as well as beers. I got an IPA because I was like, so it seemed like a good choice. So hey, if you are a fan of IPAs, today is IPA day. Maybe you can get your local beer person to...
Yeah, and apparently white wine day, too.
And it's white wine day.
So, yeah, all the...
the food groups. Chocolate chip cookies, white wine, and IPA.
Basic alcohol drinkers, today is your day to celebrate.
Right?
Bless you.
Exactly. It's like basic day. I mean, because a chocolate chip cookie is also, one could argue,
probably the basic version of the cookie. Yes,
exactly, and not in a bad way. I feel like
it's almost like these are the default,
right?
Chocolate chip, default IPA, default white wine.
Like asking for a Kleenex, you mean a tissue.
80% of the people there are going to be happy with these choices if that's all you had.
Exactly.
You'll have a few grumblers like me, but most of the people are going to be quite pleased with those options.
I remember so I used to have a cookie business called One Smart Cookie, and chocolate chip cookies were, of course, one of the cookies that I made. And I was interviewing a gal that would become a babysitter for us, and we're still in touch with her all these years later. And one of my interview questions was chocolate chip cookie or oatmeal raisin? And if I asked you that question, what would you answer?
I would say oatmeal raisin.
I knew it.
Yeah, I do like a chocolate chip, but for me, oatmeal raisin is just a cut above.
I feel like this is another one of those personality things that, like, it doesn't surprise me. I knew you were going to say oatmeal raisin. She said chocolate chip, and that was the personality that I wanted for watching my kids. Don't even worry about it. I also had a thing about sick hair. I'm quirky.
You think oatmeal raisin fans are irresponsible?
No, not at all. They're almost too responsible, and that's the point. That I needed a good cop to my role as bad cop.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Very confused by this.
I know. I'm a confusing
screening process that you use. But
look,
whatever works.
Really, I just needed a babysitter. I'm such a good mother. So there's also today, whenever I look this stuff up, I also see, like the birthdays and whose birthday it is. And, like it's always somebody's birthday. Today, the diversity of birthdays is unbelievable. In no particular order, Louis Vuitton, Louis Armstrong.
Right.
Megan,
Louis Vuitton, he was a designer, right?
Yes. And I'm guessing, I don't know about the House of Louis Vuitton. At this point, it seems to be the iconic leather goods and such. I don't know what the House of Louis Vuitton was built on other than leather goods with that iconic LV. I feel like I should know that, but I don't.
French luxury fashion house and company founded in 1854 by Louis Vuitton.
There you go. So happy birthday, Louis.
Yeah.
Let them eat cake.
He's long gone now.
Yeah. But, the tradition lives on. Louis Armstrong, of course.
Yes.
Like, iconic. Meghan Markle, our very own American royalty. Cole Sprouse, Disney royalty.
Never heard of Cole Sprouse.
Okay, so Dylan and Cole Sprouse were the twins that played Ross's son on Friends. They were also the twins that were on the show Sweet Life of, I think it was Zach and Cody. And they were on the show Riverdale, which is essentially a dramatization of the Archie comics.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I'm looking him up, and I don't recognize him whatsoever, but I am not the target audience for any of the things that you mentioned.
Honestly, I only know those things because, he's one of those people that, my kids watch The Sweet Life, and then the fun fact around him with the Friends thing, and then Riverdale. I remember it being kind of like how Euphoria was there for a while. It was like the show for teens. Never watched it, so I have nothing to say about it. It is also the birthday of Barack Obama, our former president, and it is also the birthday of the United States Coast Guard.
Wow.
It's quite a list.
Yeah, quite a variety of stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
So, happy birthday to all of them, and happy birthday to whomever else has a birthday today.
Right.
You are in esteemed company, and I feel like you can find somebody that you're happy to be sharing the birthday with. Yeah. So I'm just, do you know of, on your birthday, do you know who you share your birthday with? When is your birthday?
November 13.
I gotta write this down. Uh-huh. Okay, good to know. Good to know. I gotta make sure that we sing and all of that. Yeah, I don't know who I share my birthday with. It's kind of cool to see, though.
Well, let's.
Are you looking it up?
I'm looking up mine first, and then we'll look up yours. So Jimmy Kimmel apparently has the same birthday as me. A bunch of people I've never heard of. These are so-called famous birthdays. Gerard Butler, okay, I've heard of.
Actor.
Yeah. And Joe Montana.
Yeah. Yep.
Why can't I say his name? Steve Zahn.
Oh my gosh, Steve
Zahn. Yeah.
I remember him from That Thing You Do.
Great
Reality
movie.
Bites. Yeah, a whole bunch of different movies.
So, yeah, and a whole bunch of other people that I've never heard of, TikTok stars and Instagrammers and all this that I think most people have not actually. I think they're getting a little loose with the lingo when they say famous, but Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So when is your birthday?
March 13th.
March 13th. Okay. Hey, we're both 13s.
It's lucky. And I was married on the 13th, too. Okay, this does not bode well. Apparently, I share the same birthday as Tristan Thompson, the oft-cheating significant other of Khloe Kardashian.
But also William H. Macy.
Oh, hey, that's cool.
Dana Delaney, great actress.
Oh, yeah.
Annabeth Gish.
I remember her from Mystic Pizza.
Common, the rapper.
Yep, the rapper.
Emily Hirsch.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Hey,
right.
Mike Stoller from Lieber and Stoller.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
and
pretty good. Neil
Jack Harlow.
Sedaka.
No, Neil Sedaka. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, L. Ron Hubbard.
I saw that, and I was trying not to mention that. Yeah, Dianetics and
It was
the founder of Scientology.
There's a bunch of Thetans celebrating your birthday every March.
Yay! All right. Well, then on that note, why don't we take a little break so that we can sing happy birthday to ourselves. And when we come back, we are going to be talking about artists. I know you're super excited about this. So keep listening to Don't Ask Me to Talk. When we come back, we're going to talk about art and artistes. Keep listening. Stacy Connects. It's not just my business, it's my superpower. Whether you need the right tone and messaging for a new venture or you've plateaued with your current one, I can help. I connect clients with themselves and their potential. Then I identify unique solutions that translate your brand into messaging that connects your target audience with your business. Go to stacyconnects.com to connect with me and your messaging. Don't ask me to talk. Welcome back to Don't Ask Me to Talk. I am one of your hosts, Stacey Heller. I'm joined by Eric Ryder.
That's me.
So last week we picked the topic of artists. And I very boldly declared that that would mean fine artists because this is something that I love. You seemed a little bit more dubious about it.
I mean, there's so many different kinds of art that, to whittle it down suddenly to that, it can be helpful because, that lets you know exactly what to talk about. But if you don't necessarily have a favorite fine artist or a whole lot of thoughts on that, then, you can be questioning of it.
I get it. So let me give you a little bit of background. I grew up in a family where my grandfather was a painter. He primarily painted in watercolors, although he also did oils. Then my father was not by profession, but probably would have loved to be a photographer. My uncle is, I would say, like an artisan. He does woodworking and things like that. He makes beautiful custom tables and things, which is certainly a form of artistry. I have my oldest brother, Jay. He is great at a caricature, and he can do great doodles. His wife, Mary, she is a talented artist. She was a interior designer, I think, like for commercial spaces. My brother, Peter, he is an artist, photographer, and his wife, Sky Kim, she is an artist as well. So I come by it like quite naturally. And, my growing up, my parents never met a blank wall that they couldn't fill. Like that's just how it was. And I have followed suit. It's an interesting thing growing up. When I was a kid, my parents, because I was 5 and 7 years younger than my brothers got out of these long Sunday rides. I'm doing air quotes. You can't see it. Where my dad would be in search of a photograph. And so they'd throw me in the back of the car. And very often, because we were on the East Coast, we would end up a couple states away. And quite often we ended up at a place called Storm King, which is in New York. It is, at the time, it was the bane of my existence. Now, of course, I rethink those memories, but it is sort of like the Olympic Sculpture Park that is here in Seattle, except that it's a larger space and it has massive sculptures all over the property. And there are some permanent pieces that are there on display. There's the original residence that has art shows, and then there's also visiting artists and things. And I mean, I remember as a little kid, I'd be standing in front of some giant sculpture and somebody would come by frantically looking at the program like, who's this by? And, I'd be like, oh, that's by David Smith or that's by Henry Moore, because it was so ingrained in me. So when I went off to college, I considered being an art history major because that's very practical. So that gives you a little bit of background. So in terms of favorite artists, as I was thinking about this, I have this question for you to consider. I think about who my favorite artists are, and they're all people that have been around for a long time. So, like, when are current artists considered, like, when did they get to that echelon of, like, Picasso or, whomever it is, right?
It seems so random because, everybody knows a great artist out there, I think. At least I do. I know quite a few of them, and they're not famous superstars that are traveling the globe doing installations. They're doing, murals in Tacoma and doing, selling their wares at a farmer's market. Who is the guy? Because it makes sense if you're a musician or whatever. Maybe a record label is going to find you and go, zink, now you're
right.
We're signing you. We're going to put a bunch of promotion behind you. But when you're an artist, there's not like a painting label that
right.
signs you.
Exactly.
And then suddenly they promote you and you go on a big tour. It's just like somehow you break through, and I don't understand the process at all. But, somebody like Dale Chihuly, for instance, he no denying that he's a very talented glassmaker, but how does he go to being like the world's most famous glass artist when, there's a million glass artists doing fine work? It's a question. I don't know. But not to take anything away from, these people that have broken through and are very popular. But, there's a lot of people that are doing great work that, aren't famous at all.
Right. Well, and that's exactly, like I can go on about, and of course I will in a minute, about different artists whose work I really like and I respond to and whatever. And it brought up the fact that, one, art is so subjective.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I think is fabulous, you may look at and be like, I could do that with a crayon.
Yeah, and it used to be that, stuff really had to be very, you had to study for years under the masters. Mm-hmm. And, the whole goal was to make it almost as photorealistic as possible using oil paint or sculpture or whatever. But then, of course, abstraction came along and modern art came along. And so it's harder to say, oh, that definitively is, those strokes are the work of a master. You know what I mean? Now it's about just striking people emotionally. And, of course, when you do that, you're also going to have somebody that's going to be like, yeah, my 10-year-old could do that.
Right. Totally.
And hey, I can't argue with that completely because, sometimes something that just moves you does look like a 10-year-old could do it.
Right. Oh, totally. Yeah. And it's just fascinating that, I'm 52 and growing up around this stuff and studying it in school. And I'm not as up on the scene. I'm not following art magazines to see who the up and coming artists are and that kind of thing. But I think about, back when I would learn about these artists throughout art history, I feel like I'm so curious, like what and who are the new names and artists that are out there? I mean, Banksy, right?
Right. Yeah.
And, as you said, Dale Chihuly. And
by the way, there's a Banksy exhibit in Seattle right now.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan of Banksy, I'd check that out.
Yeah. I mean,
he does amazing work.
He does do amazing work.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So, certainly those kinds of things. There's a artist, I don't know if he's made books or not. He goes by the name Christo. He covered islands and bridges, and he did a thing in New York and those kinds of things. So, I mean, those are sort of contemporary artists that I can think of that maybe would make it to an art history book now.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting thing. And then this made me start thinking about the use of social media. And, we've talked in the past about, fame and people who are famous, and even earlier in the show talking about birthdays and, who you share a birthday with. And a lot of the people that are out there that are considered famous, they're TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram famous, and we don't know them, right?
And apparently they all share my birthday.
Right. You're welcome. So, it's an interesting thing to be social media famous. Like, I have an artist that I am a big fan of. I started following him on social media years and years and years ago, and his name is Donald Robertson. His Instagram handle is Drobertson. And he started out in really, I think, like commercial, like graphic arts and doing like marketing campaigns and things like that. And through social media, really has started, doing everything. And he has done product collaborations with various designers, and I love his work. It's really whimsical. It's fun. And for my 30th wedding anniversary, I actually commissioned him to do an original piece, and he was really responsive. That shows the power of social media with artists and being able to get out there.
Yeah.
So
and
that's...
There's no telling how valuable, price-wise, money-wise, that is. But if it's valuable to you as, somebody that just enjoys the work, then that's a whole nother scale.
Well, and I will say that is something that I am very grateful that my parents always taught me, that with in terms of collecting art, whether it's a poster that you picked up from someplace, or it's an original piece you got at a farmer's market or from a thrift store, or something you bought from a gallery, if it speaks to you and you love it, then it's priceless. And they taught me that. They practiced that. And so those are the pieces around my house. I mean, I have a random painting of a blue man that I love. I have, a subway scene. I have, things that my family did. Every piece has a story, and I feel like that's the thing that I love the most. But definitely that social media piece. Now, for instance, my sister-in-law, Sky Kim, she is an artist who, I suppose in terms of artists, has recently made it. She is now being represented by a fairly well-known gallery in New York, and they have a place in the Hamptons and in New York, and they represent her not only here in the States, but abroad as well. And, and that's a big deal to have formal representation in that way.
Yeah. So is that how it happens? There's a gallery that sees your work and decides to represent you or show? I mean, is there...
I think it's one way. Yeah. And it's probably a more traditional way. It's kind of like, traditional publishing versus self-publishing, right?
Do you have as a painter these days, are there agents trying to get you licensed? And
so that is
such a mystery.
It is a total, the whole world honestly, it's a total
arts is a mystery to me.
It's total mystery. And from what I'm understanding, being with this particular gallery, it's like you sign a contract. And it's like, okay, she's painting and she gets full autonomy on what she creates. And they basically have first right of buying those pieces. And then they show her work, and then people start collecting, and it drives the prices up. And then she starts to see the benefits of that and that kind of thing. And I think it's for a period of time. And then, if they want to do, I went to an opening that she had in New York back in this past spring. And, they had some where you could get a copy, like a lithograph or whatever. And that is something that I believe the gallery is almost acting like your agent. And it is a mystery. And the fact that you have to, you're an artist and you want to create, and then you need to think about the business side of things. So if you don't have the prowess that a Donald Robertson has in terms of social media and engaging with his audience, or you don't, say, live in the New York area and ensconce yourself in the art community or, insert name of some other major metropolis, I would imagine it's really hard.
Yeah. Well, interesting. Just talking about this just reminds me that one of my best friends in junior high in 7th and 8th grade has gone on to become a rather famous artist. His name is Luke Chu, and I've lost touch with him long ago, but I see stuff about him online all the time now, and it's like I should get in touch and ask him these details.
Yeah.
Now I've suddenly got tons of questions about how do you become a famous artist, but
or even just a represented artist, right?
Yeah.
How do you spell his
exactly.
last name?
It's Chu, so it's Chueh.
Okay.
And he does really interesting paintings and sculptures and stuff, kind of known as lowbrow design, but very fun stuff. And I remember when we were kids, he used to always draw the same character he called Death Bunny. And,
That's funny. That's like Psycho Bunny is out there.
Yeah. And I can totally see the Death Bunny character in all his work that have made him, famous and notable in the art world now. So it's kind of funny. And, myself and another friend of mine, Kim, the three of us were like really tight, and we all did art, but he's the one that went on to turn it, turn it into a career. Which, it's amazing because, again, how do you do that?
Right. Exactly. Well, and and it's great. Like I have artists that, I learned that going to lots of galleries and museums and stuff over the years, I learned that I have a specific genre that I like, which is called abstract expressionism.
Mm-hmm.
If you think of like a Jackson Pollock, most people know who Jackson Pollock is.
Right.
It's just that the idea of like color, texture, movement, a lot of times color. So I have certain artists that I really love, like Helen Frankenthaler, which to have a woman abstract expressionist was a big deal. Robert Motherwell, Mark Rothko, and sculpture Henry Moore, big fan. And then new stuff, I have this vibe of like Mara Kalman is a favorite artist, Donald Robertson I mentioned. There's also this woman, her name is Kelly Reemsten, Reemsten. Her paintings are like women in, think like I Love Lucy type dresses, and then they're holding like an axe or like, I don't know, some tool. And I love like the idea of like the play of the modern woman and kind of the iconic housewife thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also think you were mentioning your friend, Luke,
Luke Chu.
To know artists and to be able to support them. And I know lots of local artists like Juliet Dunkelberger. She's a ceramicist. Quincy from Albanist Designs. You can follow him on Instagram. Ruby Lindner, Diana Grant. I mean, those are some local artists.
And I'll shout out Mindy Parker in Tacoma.
There you go.
She's fantastic.
Right? I mean, it's just, and it means so much to artists for you to, even if you can't afford to buy the pieces, to show up.
Yeah.
So, I know you didn't think you had a lot to say about artists.
I have always got something to say about everything, apparently.
Which is why you're here.
And, I'll just very quickly shoehorn this in because we got to wrap up, I know, because we got to talk to Vance about the artistry of food.
Naturally.
Yeah, and he is an artisan for sure. But, I'll say a very underrated painter. And you wouldn't guess that I would think he's underrated, but Norman Rockwell. There was I went to a exhibition at Tacoma Art Museum a few years back, and they had a bunch of his original stuff that, that we've all seen a million times on posters and Saturday Evening Post covers.
We take it for granted.
Licensed on magnets, T-shirts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when you see his paintings in real life, not out of a magazine or a print or whatever, but right there in front of you and see the detail, he just did amazing, incredible stuff. And
I agree.
Yeah, underrated, but at the same time, one of the most successful artists of all time.
Totally.
So,
I totally agree with you. I had the opportunity to go to Stockbridge, and he had a studio there. That's where he was based. And I 100% agree with you. Those people that they almost become, they're definitely taken for granted, or they become some kind of a joke because history has changed and how we perceive things. But good shout out. I like that. All right. Well, so the lesson here is you don't have to know artists specifically. However, education, sharing, getting to know things. All right, speaking of art, we will be right back with Vance Dingfelder of Dingfelder's Delicatessen to talk about the art of what we're eating. We'll be right back. Stacy Connects. It's not just my business, it's my superpower. Whether you need the right tone and messaging for a new venture, or you've plateaued with your current one, I can help. I connect clients with themselves and their potential. Then, I identify unique solutions that translate your brand into messaging that connects your target audience with your business. Go to stacyconnects.com to connect with me and your messaging.
Interested in learning something new? Meeting someone new? Find out things that we have in common? Well, of course you are. You're a human being. So let's get intentional about it. Join me, JDK Winnikin, every week and get all of that in less than an hour. I'm a writer, a historian, a social commentator, and my show is all about you. Really, that's what it's called. This show is all about you. Get my perspectives on the week's news and hear fascinating guests whose stories will inspire and move you. My show is all about giving you something that connects us. Join me Mondays on Kixie 880 at 3 p.m. or download it as a podcast.
Can't get enough of Stacy and Eric? Then be sure and check out Stacy Connects with Stacy Heller wherever you find podcasts. Stacy chats with guests about a variety of topics, hoping to make a connection through conversation.
Don't ask me to talk. Welcome back to Don't Ask Me to Talk. We were talking before the break about art and artists. And speaking of art and artists, we have with us
we've got the Lord of the Sandwich.
Lord of the Sandwich.
Or the master craftsman of sandwiches.
Exactly.
If you will.
Of sandwich.
This is your music, Vance.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah,
What a great intro.
Right?
We're, of course, talking to Vance Dingfelder from Dingfelder's Deli.
And
Nourish Catering.
You're that guy. You're that guy? I love that place. Thank you.
Exactly. So,
I go, do you want to work there?
Okay. So let's discuss what we're eating, because whenever you speak about what we're eating, it is like a work of art.
Well, you know what? You're being really kind, and thank you so much, Steve.
Of course.
So it's pesto.
Ooh.
And it's summer. It just screams pesto because basil is so easy to grow here in the summer. And when you have a bunch, what do? You get a good olive oil, you pick all the leaves off, and it's so fragrant in the kitchen that pesto, and it's just a paste, right? I mean, at the end of the day.
Right.
And if you really get a little, when you have a mortar and pestle, and you can sit there, it's almost cathartic to,
gently beat it up.
Well, more just kind of combining the flavors and kind of, smashing them together with
right.
pestle, right?
What goes into a good pesto besides basil leaf?
Well, it's such a simple recipe. You get 2 cups of packed basil leaves without the stems, and you need some pine nuts. Some people use walnuts, and other people use a different nut. I'm really a traditionalist, but I prefer the pine nut over other nuts, and I toast my pine nuts. So to the 2 cups of basil, you take a quarter cup or a little less than a quarter cup, maybe 3 tablespoons of pine nuts that have been toasted.
Okay.
And then you do 3/4 of a cup of really good Reggiano Parmesan that's grated, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Some people can put garlic cloves in it. I like the little garlic in it. And to that measure, I would put 3 nice smashed garlic cloves.
Okay.
And then one of the most important things is the oil,
Yeah.
because you're not cooking the pesto, and you want to use a really fragrant, flavorful oil, from Italy or Greece or Spain. There's a lot of really good olive oils out there. Even California olive oils have really stepped it up, and you can get good ones there as well. I prefer Ligurian extra virgin olive oil from Italy. It's got kind of a green, fresh, banana almost kind of taste.
Really?
And
banana?
Yeah, it's really cool. A little spicy, a little peppery, and there's some sweetness at the end, and it's a little banana-y, So the way to test olive oil is you pour it in your hand and you just rub your hands together really fast, and it gets hot, and you put your face down into your hands and you smell the fragrance of it. And then you pour maybe half a teaspoon into your hand, and you suck it off your hand and you swallow it. And how it waxes your palate, right? If it goes smooth and it doesn't leave residue in your mouth, that's a good quality.
Okay.
If it's not too peppery or acidic, it's even better. So you take all that and you put it into the blender.
Okay.
And
how much oil is it again?
It was it's the same amount of oil as you have Parmesan cheese.
So 3/4 cup.
So 3/4 of a cup. And I pretty much put half of it into the blender first and then stream the rest in. I don't even refrigerate it the first day. The first
Wow.
day I just let it out. And it's warm, and I just love to put it on. So being the lord of the sandwich, I have to make a caprese sandwich.
Yeah.
And I usually make it on focaccia bread.
Mm-hmm.
And I spread that pesto on the focaccia bread with some really good organic heirloom tomatoes that have been ripened, and they're served at room temperature. You never refrigerate a tomato, Stacy.
Oh, okay. Why are you directing that at me?
Well, I'm just putting it out there.
Okay,
And you're
okay.
a good target for me to say it so that other people could go, oh, you don't refrigerate? Maybe you could have asked why.
Why?
Yeah,
why, actually?
Okay. Well, refrigerated tomato has no flavor.
Oh.
When you take a tomato off the vine, is it cold?
No, of course not.
That's right. So think about that, right? That's why the flavor in a ripe heirloom tomato. It's just. So I come from New York, and we had New Jersey tomatoes.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to grow tomatoes on the backyard.
Right. Jersey
Here-
tomatoes.
But the heirloom tomatoes are amazing. So, and then fresh mozzarella, right? You put a slice of fresh mozzarella on it with a basil leaf, a little Aleppo pepper, a little salt, right? And then you put the pesto on the other side. Makes an amazing summer sandwich, I just have to say. Plus, pesto in a pasta salad?
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Now,
Right?
let me ask you a question. Not a leading question at all. How would this pair with like a crisp white wine, for instance?
Not leading at all.
At all?
At all. Well,
I'm
gonna ask
asking
you,
for a friend.
What is your favorite white wines? Tell me.
A Pinot?
You like a Pinot. So I prefer a Sancerre.
I don't know that I know a Sancerre.
I'm
Sir.
so glad you asked because, I just love telling this story ever since I learned it from this sommelier in Chicago. Sancerre, okay,
Yeah.
is a Sauvignon Blanc. And we all know what a Sauvignon Blanc is. But the thing about the Sancerre is that it's the original Sauvignon Blanc. And
Oh.
it grows in France, in the Loire Valley. where the Seine River flowed through the Loire Valley, and the river receded. And the grapevines grow on the shale rock that was left behind from the river. And it's crisp, and it's minerally, and it's such a great summer wine because you can pair it with oysters or pesto. Sancerre, the original Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay. Well, then that's what I meant to say.
Did you know that it's what is it? It's I think it's National White Wine Day.
Yeah, it's National White Wine Day, and it's also National IPA Day, and it's National.
What's your favorite IPA? What's your favorite IPA? Do you have one?
Well, okay. So Eric and I were talking about this, and neither of us are really beer drinkers.
It's such a Northwest thing, though.
I know, but I also don't drink coffee, and that's a Northwest thing.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can ask me about gin.
Coffee. I like coffee, right? I like. Yeah, anyway, yeah, it is a Northwest thing. What's your favorite IPA? Do you know? Do you have one?
Honestly, no. I'm like Rolling Rock that's really cold.
Oh, that's funny. What about a Molson?
I mean,
or better yet, a Sam Adams.
Right? Or a Stella Artois.
No.
Okay, don't shame me.
They bought Budweiser.
Oh.
I'm not forgiving them.
Okay. All right.
So beer's only just, I don't know if you knew this, but beer's only like 3 companies control all the beer, all the different brands.
That sort of tracks.
Ridiculous. Yeah, it used to be such a local thing. When I grew up in New York, I mean, they had Schaefer, which was brewed in Brooklyn.
Oh, do you remember Peels?
Schlitz. Yes. Schlitz and there was just all of the, Miller. Miller High Life.
Those were the good old days.
Anyway, my favorite IPA right now, currently, is Bodhisattva. It's in an orange box, but Bodhisattva on tap is just such a good beer. And I think it's Pike Place Brewing. I'm not 100% sure.
Wow, look at you. Thank God.
What do you mean?
No, it's like, honestly, thank God you sponsor this part of the show, because the number of things that I will speak for myself, I won't speak for Eric. The number of things that I learned about local foods, places to go, things to try, it is like, it's unbelievable.
I think you're pitching a show.
I mean, I might be. Have you ever thought about doing a podcast?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, come on.
I'm just saying.
A podcast. Do you know how busy I've been?
Well, yes. And the idea is to keep you busy, actually.
Yes, it's true. True. And podcasts, I guess it's the thing to do because, I guess it's a thing that I should maybe consider more of a reality that it might happen than just go, oh, no.
Well, I mean, I will say when you talk about what we should be eating, it is a bit like food porn. So,
yeah.
Right?
No, it is not.
It is too.
I'm looking at dingfelders.com, of course, the fantastic website for the Dingfelders Deli. And of course, there's a link there for Nourish Catering. And you described that amazing sandwich with the fresh pesto and all that stuff. I don't know. I don't see this on the menu. Is this something that you offer as a special, or is something Nourish does?
Well, it obviously originated as a Nourish thing, but it is on the menu. If you look at the catering menu, there's a sandwich called the Meatless in Seattle.
Okay.
And it's a 3-foot caprese sandwich.
Ah, yeah, I see that for Nourish.
And what we've done, and this might become too much of a thing, is for vegetarians, when you order a sandwich platter, right, you might have some vegetarians that want something without meat, heaven forbid, but and you do a caprese.
Nice.
So you get. So it's kind of one of those hidden things because we don't offer it every day. But when we open up, we might just do that sandwich because it's really popular and people love it.
Yeah, it sounded amazing. And now that I do see it on the Nourish menu, as you say, this is very tempting.
Hey, maybe I'll bring you guys one.
Okay.
That sounds great.
Next time we make it, and hopefully it'll be.
We'll make it on a Thursday.
Yes.
Maybe
on a
Thursday is Caprese Day. I'm just suggesting for a friend.
Oh, look at you! Like Reuben Tuesdays.
Exactly.
We have Caprese Thursday.
Exactly. I'll gladly pay you Monday for a Caprese today. Don't you remember Wimpy?
I think we need to record that and have that be like a tagline for the podcast.
Right? I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Oh my gosh. Well, per usual,
Thank you for allowing me to sponsor your show because I really enjoy it. I have fun with you. I love listening. And, this is fun.
Well, we love your food.
Yeah, we love your food. We love you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mutual love fest. So for those of you that enjoy hearing about this, tune in each week because Vance always shares with us what we should be eating. And if you want to try it for yourself, remember that you can go to Dingfelder's. It's in Cap Hill, and you can check out what they have there. You might even see Vance. You never know. Tell him Stacy and Eric sent you. And if you have an event and you want to see what else Vance and his team can come up with, then consider Nourish Catering for your next event.
Yeah, and if you can't make it over to Cap Hill, you can DoorDash it.
DoorDash it. You can go to DoorDash and order it to be delivered 10-mile radius from the delicatessen.
Fantastic.
Even further, there's been, you know what? I've had orders, Stace, that goes as far east as Preston.
Oh,
wow!
And what I found out was, as long as there's a driver that's willing to take it, that's the whole thing. That's how that gets determined.
Interesting. All right, noted. Well, you heard it here first, folks. So if you want something and there's a driver available, it just might work out for you. So, well, thanks as always, Vance. We so appreciate you and your food, and we look forward to seeing what next week brings.
I look forward to it, and, enjoy this gorgeous weather we're having.
I know. It's awesome. Have a great week.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Super hungry now.
I mean, are we ever not after?
I want that meatless in Seattle sandwich. Yeah, gonna have to head on down and sweet talk Vance into having him make one for me.
Yeah, and for listeners, I wrote down the recipe for the pesto, and I am going to post it on our Instagram account. So if
Perfect. I'm going to try making that.
Right? I'll share it with you. So if people are interested in learning what the recipe is, then you can follow Stacy Connects podcasts, and it has information both about Don't Ask Me to Talk and my other show, Stacy Connects. If he's going to share the recipe, then I'm going to share the recipe. All right. So should we figure out what we're talking about next week?
It's that time.
It's that time.
All right. Next week's topic is going to be feel-good story.
Oh.
So we're going to have to find a feel-good story
we're going to have
each
to find
to talk about.
Exactly. Interesting. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how we each translate that.
We could pluck one from our own lives, I guess, or maybe there's something that's a feel-good story in the news that we could bring up.
Maybe it's a story that we can read, like a storybook.
I'm excited to see where this goes because I have no idea right now, but that's why we got a week.
That's why we got a week. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. And remember to share what's good in the world with everyone around you. We will see you next week. Thanks for listening to Don't Ask Me to Talk.